When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our local financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's Sunday, the 28th of July. The time in the UK is about 1:45. I have no idea what time you'll be hearing this. Liverpool are trading, so there's an open trading session now. They are in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, at 3:45. Just in case you're hearing this before that, I don't know when it'll go out, in all honesty, but there you go. I'm Dave Davies, coming to you from a sunny but deceiving Edinburgh, where the sun is out, but it ain't really that warm. It would be a lie to say. Said the Reds are in Philadelphia. It's 5 years to the day Harvey Elliott became a Red. It would have been the 73rd birthday of Liverpool legend Ray Kennedy. So, yeah, a special day in that regard, ladies and gents. But what's going on in all things Liverpool? As we talk Daily Red, we'll be talking through the latest stories from today, the things that are dominating the back pages, the things that are dominating various fan sites, podcasts, all that sort of thing for you as per normal. So let's get straight into it. It's a funny one, isn't it? We thought when Arne Slot would assess the squad, it would go in stages. They would assess it. You know, Richard Hughes talked about a timeline, which he's not lied about, to be fair, so far, hasn't he? Well, we don't know if players are going to come in yet, I suppose, but he's not lied about the timeline. Squad's being assessed, and things look like they're starting to happen with the younger players, the lone returners in the squad. And one player that we keep talking about in one way is Sepp van der Berg. And it's not just to keep bringing up old stuff. It's the fact that he's talked quite a bit, and he gave an interview again to the Patch Journos who were on the tour, didn't he? Really important to say that. He gave the interview. These are his comments, no one else's. You can interpret them how you wish. So he was asked about, and this is the funny one, this, because people say, a few people commented this on Twitter. What do you expect him to do? Sit in silence? Yes, that's what I've said. I expect Steph to say, no comment. I plead the fifth to any question that's asked. Honestly, do me a favour. Like, of course he's going to answer questions. They have media training for that type of thing. However, there's a way of doing certain things. You may think what he's done is fine. You may think, why is he saying this? You will all have your opinions. But let's get stuck into what young Sepp said. So he was asked about the price tag, because obviously it's just around 20 million. Said if you want to leave, then 20 million is quite a lot. he said diplomatically and with a smile. Those are the words in James Pearce's article. I know in today's market, crazy things can happen. They put a price tag on me, which Liverpool may think is right because I had a good season. The first reaction from me was that it was quite high. Of course, it is a compliment in one way. It's a sign of how well I did last year. But it makes it a bit more difficult the other way. If only they thought I was worth 2 million, that wouldn't be nice. But 20 million is maybe on the high side. And it's also in that article from James Pearce saying that, Van der Berg isn't stating that he's not desperate to get away, as those words are in the article. However, it's a concern about the minutes he will receive. And listen, I get both sides of this. I really do. And this isn't to try and play like a Tory MP hanging on to the last few seats and, keeping their space in the House of Commons by any means. This is more about, I get he'd want to play. I do. We've heard the reports that Liverpool staff have said he's come on leaps and bounds from that year at Mainz. We have. We've heard about the side of, look at his aerial stats, look at how he's done, etc. Yeah, great. So I understand you want to keep development going. The best way to develop, play. No two ways about it. You cannot dispute that, especially for a young centre-half. That's key in their development. I also understand the clubs he's been linked with at the same time. You've seen PSV, Stuttgart, Hoffenheim. Now, I know Hoffenheim on, but PSV and Stuttgart are set to be in the Champions League. So imagine he moves to a team where he's expected to play regularly, being in the Champions League. I get that. I get why his agent, would think that completely. On the other side, I understand the fans that go, well, hold on. He gives us a strong fifth option. We should, we've got other priorities like left-back, defensive midfielder. We should not be looking to sell centre-backs. Keep that as it's a decent pool of 5. I'm kind of that mindset. If it could all be, rationalised, worked out, whatever you want to call it, I like the 5 we have for now. It's not a perfect 5. I'm not going to analyse that now, but we've got bigger priorities in this window at the moment. So that would be my first thing to say. The second thing is people will look at it different ways. A player talking about his price tag in such specific circumstances, if you think I'm making that up, he talks about 20 million. He says that figure twice in all these quotes that all your patch journos have put out, but maybe 20 million is on the high side. Well, why? Because City got 20 million for Taylor Harwood-Bells, I think it is, from Southampton. You look at other Bundesliga centre-backs and what they're going for, like Vladimir Anton, that's over 20 million, but apparently a lower figure because there's a release clause. So you look at things like that and think, okay, when I'm seeing what's priced in the market, it doesn't seem that low. It seems a reasonable asking price. And for all these suggestions, it'd have to come down a lot. And we've seen Sepp now. We looked decent at Betis. We'd like to see him again. But at the moment, I don't see it as such a ridiculous pie-in-the-sky asking price, as many are pointing out. Even as, if you mentioned Wolfsburg are also in at the same time. Yes, Mainz wants him, but can't get near it. So there's interest. It's just hard to see Sepp staying here. I would be against it. Obviously, you want him to just work, be that. And minutes, it's about this, will he get minutes? It's what's a suitable amount of minutes, I think it comes down to the question. Because you look, he's used to now playing regularly at Mainz. That's aided his development. He played for Preston regularly before. He's used to that development in his career. He used to playing minutes, being a regular. He's had the taste for that. I understand it. Keller has had a similar situation. He's talked about it. They have a taste for being a first-team player. Thing is, you just don't know because he's one of 5 centre-halves. Now, when everyone's fit, it's always going to be Van Dijk and one other. And yes, I understand the logic about maybe you be careful with Van Dijk's minutes, but still, there's that element. Yes, Canate has his injury concerns, the amount of minutes you get out of him, but Quansah, Gomez, I know people talk about question marks around Gomez, but you have to talk as though he's still here. It's difficult to pinpoint an exact amount of minutes you'd expect from Sepp van der Berg, is it? That we can judge or guess a little bit, and it's completely guesswork. And at the same time, he would be happy with. And part of that is because he's used to being a regular at those teams. So I am struggling, and I could be wrong. I wouldn't mind seeing him stay. I think we've got so much to do this summer that keeping 5 centre-halves around is beneficial for us. and there's other areas to focus on. However, the way it's going, if I had to bet, and this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I suspect late on, or maybe when we're back from America, etc., it wouldn't surprise me if he departs. But we will have to see about that, won't we, ladies and gents? There was a Ben Doak story late yesterday as well. Quite a few had this. It all came out around 5 p.m. yesterday, maybe having a barbecues, a few beers, whatever you were doing. That Ben Doak is attracting interest for a number of Premier League clubs. And the two clubs that are getting mentioned specifically are Leicester and Southampton. Interesting this, and as James Pearce also writes this article, Arne Slot and Richard Hughes are fully aware of his wishes, i.e. he wants to play minutes because he had his injuries, he hardly played at all. And they intend to sit down with him and weigh up their options following the tour. So he's another one you feel that when America finishes, when we're back, right, what are we doing with Ben Doak? There's a couple of things on this. Ben Doak can beat a man easily. There's zero doubts about that. His pace, acceleration, he can beat a man. No doubts about it. It's the end product at the moment. And this isn't to really criticise him because he's still a young developing player, but from what we've seen, the end product just really isn't there of the level that's needed right now. So a loan move makes all the sense in the world for me. All the sense in the world. Gain regular minutes and do that. At the same time, when I see Leicester and Southampton, and it's trying not to be disrespectful, you suspect, if someone said, how do you think those teams are going to get on? Probably struggling in the Premier League this season. Is that the right backdrops for Ben Doak? I don't think he is, because I think you could see him in and out the team, then reluctant to play him because of what I suspect will be struggles. I would have thought a top-end championship team would be perfect for him. One that they think, listen, and they do that contract, don't they, where either they have to pay a certain amount, he doesn't pay X amount of games or X percentage of the minutes. That sounds perfect. But when they look at that championship, who is going to be at the top and sort of work their way down to, get him in that team, because that's where I think he'll benefit from. I really do. A team that, does well. Maybe it sounds strange. I know it's easier said than done. I'm not pretending I know. But the best attacking team in the championship that has offers on the table for it. That would be my thing. Either way, they've got to sit down and work it out. But for all the raw potential, and it is raw, but there really is potential there, his end product needs to be worked on. So you hope that will be the key focus. But alone makes all the sense in the world for him. And that article also mentions Luke Chambers, which is also expected to happen, him to go on loan to Wigan. Again, people talked about that one, debating it, but that looks done. So there's no point really talking about that one too much. And then the final one talked about the kids, Fabio Carvajal. Now, he played left wing against Betis, didn't he, on the left side of an attack in the 4-2-4. And questions were asked about it because there was two number 10s, weren't there? And Arne Slot talked about, this isn't my surmise, this is what Arne Slot said, because it suited Harvey Elliott and Dominic Szoboszlai. So Fabio Carvalho spoke yesterday, and again, another who didn't rule out a move away from Anfield before the window closes. So what did he say? He said, I've had a few conversations with the manager, which I'm not going to go into detail about, but he wants me to get my head down and work and see where that goes. It's about making a statement. There are good chances for all the young players on the trip, no doubt about that. It's a chance for everyone to stamp their mark. The time I spent at Hull was crucial. I needed game time, and I was happy when I was playing regularly. Every footballer wants to be playing week in, week out. I get that feeling when I was there and playing.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
Then this is the second part I think is crucial as well. When we spoke about it and they were talking about his position, he told me to try and settle on the wing. But obviously I know where I play best, and I feel there is that as a number 10. I think I played better there. I'm just going to do what he wants me to do and work as hard as I can for him. He's giving me good instructions and motivating me a lot in training and giving me that confidence. He goes on to say further, but I think there's a few bits to pull apart there. Yeah, it was, again, another, they've got and I get it, there's nothing wrong with this. The taste for first team football, the time I spent at Hull was crucial. I needed game time, and I was happy when I was playing regularly. For all the potential Fabio Carvajal may have, and he had a great time in the second half of the season, he had a stinking time at Red Bull, didn't he? But really good for Hull, and the Hull fans were waxing lyrical about him and Tyler Morton. And this is no disrespect to Hull at all, but that to Liverpool first team is a monumental leap. And I don't think anyone sees, or there'll be very few Reds who see Fabio Carvajal in the first team picture. Even if he wanted to play number 10, look at all the players you think would be ahead of him, like Bosley, Elliott to start with, as we've seen. There's still McAllister who can play there to come back. Jota could even play there, if everyone's fit. You could go through a ream. Even on the left wing, at absolute best. Gakpo's now got a claim, as we know, but people had sorted that up. Luis Diaz is still at the club. We've all suspected on that, but he's there. Third at absolute best. So if you said he wants first team minutes, I get that. I just don't see how it happens. That just because you're not in the Liverpool first team does not make you a bad player. We're not 12 here playing FIFA. But for me, it just seems like this feels like the talk of the start of, after the US tour, that he will also be moved on. I just can't see any other way. And also some people say, give him a loan. To what end? Because he's had a couple of loans now. I know it's 2 in 1 season, but what would a loan prove? I don't understand. Unless there's a loan with like an option, you thought to put him in the sales window, maybe, but it just feels like one that...
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
It did work out. They had a try. And there's nothing wrong with doing these. Sometimes it's good business to buy a player like Carvalho for, say, 7.7 million, which is the rumoured fee. And if you can turn that into, somewhere around £15 million, what's wrong with that? Not every player will make it at Liverpool. That's not a bad thing. It's right to set the bar high. So it's just something to think about there. But I'd be surprised if that happens. We'll have to see. Other things, there's on Liverpool FC, on the YouTube channel, etc. The behind the scenes from Pittsburgh is out now. That's quite cool. And also, we're starting to see the photos and footage of Diogo Jota. He's with the Reds in Philadelphia. And interestingly, we haven't heard an official report on Curtis Jones, but he was in all the stretching videos, yoga, whatever was going on there. So that'll be interesting to see. And the reason I'm saying that is at 3:45, we'll find out probably, is he training with the squad? If he's not, you probably want an update. We'll have to see what happens there. What I did want to mention as well is it's important to say this because I hate when this gets ignored. In Pittsburgh as well, there's videos now coming out, and it didn't really get mentioned too much. After the game, the Egyptian king himself, Mo Salah, and Szoboszlai did a bit of it, to be fair, as well. But Salah specifically stayed behind, just going around signing autographs and things for 15 minutes at least, as various sort of Twitter things are coming out for afterwards, just signing galore. And people talk about, Mardy, and it's interesting, a few of those people said, when he was in the US last time, he did this as well. So it's funny how these things could just get almost airbrushed, but it's so important to mention at the same time. Really important to mention. Fair play to the Egyptian king there. Interesting ones as well. The transfers, as we talk about, I mean, there's things coming out like Victor Gyökeres. That's not going to happen. Ryan Gravenberch has been linked with a loan move. As I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but Galatasaray's president and a sporting director are set to travel to the UK to try and negotiate that deal for the 22-year-old. A lot of people have got a lot of thoughts on Ryan Gravenberch, so we'll have to see what happens. Interesting one as well. Anthony Gordon. There's Kevin Palmer's put in the Sunday World. Liverpool still in for that. I'm not ever going to denigrate a journalist, but it feels like easy work to link Anthony Gordon with Liverpool until something new develops a little bit as well. John Barnes was asked about it, and he said, we like local players. He's not only English, but he's a Scouser. He's got energy and lots of pace. He's very dynamic, and he's a player that even Jurgen Klopp would have liked. If Arne Slot's looking at Gordon as an option, he would be great at Liverpool. The interest in Gordon is leading to me believe that they are going to be a very intense, driven, and high-pressing team. So that's one Liverpool legend talking about a move for Anthony Gordon. Again, we'll just have to see what develops here at the same time. Speaking of Liverpool legend, John Barnes talked about a current one. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the Scouser in the team. John Barnes, sorry. This is shocking. I just talked about John Barnes. Robbie Fowler, God himself, God was talking about the Scouser in the team, Trent Alexander-Arnold, when asked. And what did he say? He said, when you have arguably the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid, attacking you, and a bromance with one of the greatest young stars, it's enough to turn any player's head. So I think I'd speak for every Liverpool fan when I say we'll all breathe a massive sigh of relief if Trent Alexander-Arnold signs a new long-term deal at Anfield. I know Liverpool wants to keep him, and I've heard nothing to suggest he doesn't want to continue his love affair with the club as he enters the final year of his contract. But until Trent commits the next phase of his career to his boyhood team, Liverpool are in dangerous waters. I think that's well phrased. Everyone's a little bit nervous. Things will get exaggerated. I mean, he signed that Real Madrid top the other day, didn't he? And some people took it as mad. Some people rationally said, well done, Jude was signing Liverpool tops before last summer. What does it mean in the grand context of things? Absolutely true. But yeah, it does feel like dangerous waters. We know about the three. We know that, or we've been told through various reports, through Patch Journos, that Trent is the priority for Richard Hughes. So we're all kind of waiting for developments. Maybe next week might be a big week. You kind of hope so as we move into August. And, you talked about it, Richard Hughes, the contracts, the players. Maybe it might be a case of we have to get back from the US. Who knows? But yeah, by the way, if I'm doing this in a week's time, there'll only be 2 weeks until the Premier League season starts. So you do think, or you do hope, things will be moving. It's okay to say that, ladies and gents. Tin House on for this one. Sam Maguire, I'm sure everyone knows, Sam Maguire is for Liverpool, was for trophies, etc. So, an interesting one. Sam Maguire did an article where he wrote, could Curtis Jones be the number 6 for Liverpool? Now, before people start lobbing rotten tomatoes and putting him in the stakes, etc., to be fair to Sam, and I like seeing Sam suffer a little bit at times, don't get me wrong, it's good to see. I I kind of get the rationalising in the article. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I understand the logic. I get where it's coming from. So if you don't already, or, I'd well recommend signing up to Sam's Patrol, but have a read of it, because he talks about how his physical style, the way he plays. He also talks about, an interestingly one, that Matt's FIFA using that analogy and how he played at Feyenoord, that more than a destroyer, as some people talked about. As usual, there's lots of detail stats. I don't want to sort of go through every element of the piece because that's not right, but you also referenced his training clips. I think it's important to say. And people will say, well, why is that? I think because, to be fair, from the training clips, last summer he was the first, I would say, I noticed, to talk about Alexis McAllister potentially being the sixth in what he's seen. And as other people will tell you they did, it's not me, I'm not really asked about getting into a fight about that, but maybe worth a read, something I would suggest there. In terms of one thing I think is definitely worth a listen, the Minefield Boys, Alan and Andrew, they did their podcast. Now, 10 outs on for this, Minefield Boys. Again, listen to it before you just see the headline, but Andrew especially mentions about if he was advising the 3 stars who have got a year left to go, might surprise you what he's saying, who knows, but I would 1,000% recommend, there's a stat for you, to have a listen to the Minefield podcast that is now out at Anfield Index. Later on today, I know we've got the EPL market metrics, we've got transfer show coming up over the next day. David Lynch will be with me as ever tomorrow, amongst other things. Yeah, it'll be interesting. There'll be now things coming out. You fancy we might be hearing a bit more from Arne Slot. Now we are in Philadelphia. We might even be seeing a bit more footage. It'll be good to see Diogo, won't it, back in training, all those types of things. So we'll see how this week develops. We'll see what happens with Sepp van der Berg, Ben Doak, Fabio Carvajal. Will someone think of the kids, please? Well, there we go. On Sunday, the 28th of July, the holy day, doing the good Lord's work on behalf of Anfield Index. That was the Daily Red podcast.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.